Thanks.
Let's get to the cost of amnesty. Now, we've done all the positives about your money. This is a negative. President Obama, executive order will cost about $40 billion a year, and that will go on every year for 5 decades. Total cost $2 trillion. That's just from the normalization of $4 million, as the president's just done. And that number, by the way, from the Heritage Foundation. Come on in, Congressman Mo Brooks. He's a Republican from Alabama. Congressman, it's a great pleasure to have you with us today. And I don't want to go right at you, but I got to tell you, sir, in my opinion, those 4 million people are here to stay, and there's nothing you can do about it. You can't reverse this. If you go through the courts, it'll take forever. We're stuck. What do you say?
Oh, I respectfully disagree. We are the United States of America. We have the ability to enforce our laws. The issue is whether we will have a president who will enforce our immigration laws. If the president would do that, we would not have an immigration problem.
But
so
look,
right now, it's not a question of whether we have the ability. It's a question of whether we have the will.
He's done it. He's done it. And he's not going to reverse it. And if you pass a bill in Congress that tries to reverse this, he'll veto it. And if you go through the courts to get it reversed, that'll take years. Meantime, they're here. And
well, that's not necessarily the case. That's not necessarily the case. Our federal court system.
How are you going to reverse this? How are you going to do this and quickly?
All right. I have filed a bill in the United States House of Representatives, which hopefully the leadership will allow to come up for a vote. If it does, it empowers the Speaker of the House to file an equitable action in federal court, first to declare what the law is, and is the president breaking it, and if so, to seek either a preliminary injunction, a permanent injunction, or writ of mandamus to compel the president to obey our immigration laws. And if the president refuses, then we would obtain a contempt citation with appropriate sanctions as penalty for the president's failure to comply with the federal court order. You can get a preliminary injunction in federal court if the merits are on your side relatively quickly, in a matter of weeks or months. But we've also got a fallback, and the fallback, quite frankly, is if you elect a president who believes in enforcing our immigration laws, who believes that we ought to have border security, who believes that we ought to be a country, and the definition of a country is having borders that you can control, lines on a map, that new president, with the stroke of a pen, can reverse all the damage that this president is doing to our economy and our country.
Okay. I hear you, sir. I do hear you. Do you think that the Republicans, by filing this kind of lawsuit, I guess that's what it's called, or this kind of appeal to the courts, would become the party of deportation?
Well, I would hope so, because the issue comes down to this. Too often people are focusing just on the impact on illegal aliens. We need to be focusing, as you have a little bit today on your show, on the impact of American citizens. According to the Pew Hispanic Center, illegal aliens are costing Americans 8 million jobs right now. And Americans need those jobs, and those are lost job opportunities. According to George Borjas, a Harvard economist, the depression of wages caused by this huge surge in illegal alien labor is in the neighborhood of $2,000 per year in lost income to blue-collar workers, the least among us, the families that are struggling the most. So this is a very big issue. It's not just the deficit and the debt aspect of it, how these illegal aliens consume more in taxes than they generate, thus becoming a burden on the rest of us in America, but it's also the lost jobs and the adverse effect that has on struggling American families. It's the depressed incomes for American families, again, making it more difficult for us to pay our bills. And that's the focus. And I was elected by American citizens.
Yep.
I'm going to use my position as United States Congressman to promote the interest of American citizens over those of illegal aliens. But no question, the president has made it very difficult on American families and on the House of Representatives to get the right thing done with respect to immigration policy.
Congressman, I've got about 30 seconds before we turn to President Obama and the leaving of Defense Secretary Hagel. I know he's going to appear momentarily, but I have to ask you this. Do you think that the immigration issue is now a plus for Republicans? Because it's not been a plus for Republicans for a long time.
I really haven't evaluated in terms of what's going to help or hurt political campaigns. I have evaluated in terms of whether it's going to help or hurt America. It's a definite negative for American citizens because of the adverse economic effects and the lost jobs.
Congressman Mo Brooks, Republican, Alabama, thanks very much for joining us on a very busy day. We do appreciate it.
Thank you.